Yes. What? Yes.
I don't know. Yes.
Right now?
We're live.
We are live. So this is actually a very special event, Grievance. We are having our. We have 7 founders here today. This is amazing, and we're going to sit here and talk to these amazing people who are here from the very beginning. So, let us make our introductions.
It does sound like we're old.
No, not all. Yes. These are our founders.
The forefathers.
The forefathers.
I'm not a father.
So, we'll just start to my left here. You go
My
first.
name is Chris, also known as Schmo.
Schmout.
Yep.
All right, and go on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have known Chad since the early EverQuest days. Talking to it.
Yeah.
We actually turned out to live not too far apart from each other.
At least back then.
Yeah, back then. I mean, that's really it. That's all I can think of at the moment.
That's all good. We'll come back around.
I'm Keith, and I live in Biloxi, and I work with Chad. Probably known him since the mid-90s, and we also all started playing EverQuest together. That's all I got.
I'm Chad Steelheart. Like Keith said, all of us have real life bonds. Most of us, half of us work for Biloxi. Half of us work for Biloxi Fire Department. And like the rest of them, I'm one of the original 11.
Ken Thelonious. I've known Chad for 20-something years.
Long time.
Yeah. Somehow he suckered me into coming over and checking out this new game called EverQuest, and thus began the journey. And here we are today.
I'm Kukis Brian, and one of the founders also. Also work at the fire department with Chad, and Ruff, and Trass. And yeah, it's really all Trass's fault. He's
This
the one
is
that-
Trass's fault.
This is
He's
definitely
the one
my online name is Caitlin. Some people call me Mama Kate.
Mama Kate!
Mama Kate.
My real name is Lydia. I'm married to Kukas, and I play EverQuest because somebody brought it home.
You did it kicking and screaming, though, if I remember correctly.
I did not want to play a game, but I got hooked thanks to Travis.
Wasn't my fault, technically.
No, you started it.
My name's Trass. I'm founding member. When we started the guild, I was a lot higher level than everybody else.
I voted for you.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
Let's
I
be
did.
honest. When we actually started, I was a lot higher level, and Chad wanted to be guild leader. Some of the other guys was like, Trass is higher level, so let's vote for him. And in PMs, I get this from Steel. No, I want it. And I'm like, guys, he really wants this. I'm like, I don't want it. So Steel became guild leader, voted. I voted for him. And it's a good thing because he stuck with it. He's a big dreamer, and he's done a fantastic thing. And he started playing EQ1 thinking he was going to make money.
I did.
That's what it was.
I did. I actually read an article in PC Gamer. Trass had showed me EverQuest a couple months before, and I read an article in PC Gamer that people were selling stuff on eBay. And I was like, ooh, we can do this. So
Some of us did.
well, some of y'all eventually did and took a vacation for a while. But yeah, I thought I was going to make money, and about 3 weeks later, I forgot about making money.
I warned you. I've said it a few times.
You did. You laughed.
Yes, I did. I'm going to make money.
Hail Grievance!
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it started from very humble origins. You know, we've got this group of people, these group of friends, people that work together, firefighters, spouses, friends, tight-knit group. What do you think about Grievance today?
Holy shit.
I'm very impressed as to what all it's come. Chad's done a very good job.
Yep,
Absolutely.
I never would have thought that it would grow this big. Never.
That's all.
Very good job.
11,002 members later.
How's that feel, Mama Kate?
A bunch of babies.
Mama has lots of babies. Mama and Pop.
I don't know. I know Travis will argue with me. He did it to get together in Pensacola, but we didn't see this. We never foreseen this being this big.
never this
way.
It's
Would you even conceive of expecting something like this?
no. We were just trying to keep the damn guild alive. Every time we'd guild 3 people, 2 people would leave.
We did go through some growing pains.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at one point we wanted to be a hardcore raiding guild.
Oh yeah.
That lasted a month or 2.
Let's talk about that actually, because that's a really interesting and quite humorous story. I like that story. Start off.
Somebody?
That's been a long time ago. We were sick of losing people, so we decided that we were going to become another hardcore raiding guild, so we wouldn't lose people. Because a lot of times when you're a smaller guild, you become a breeding ground for big guilds. All you do is raise them up, teach them to play, and off they go, and that sucks. So we decided, hey, we're going to be hardcore raiding guild. Chad and Kukas would meet at Waffle House and work on DKP systems.
Oh my God, man.
On pen and paper, because you didn't have apps back then, and it was quite comical. We never got that quite right. Because people would figure out your system and figure out how to abuse it, and then we're like, okay, we got to restart this, you know. But we tried hardcore raiding guild. I think I lost a hell level 5 times in fear.
That was his fault.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
It was nasty. We had a 1.5 week long corpse run one time. A 1.5 weeks. We were naked for a 1.5 weeks trying to get our corpses. That's brutal. And we learned that we weren't hardcore.
No, we could get stuff done.
Yes, we could get it
but
done.
only at our own pace.
Yeah. So we kind of toned it down, became more family friendly, and that's what's worked.
It is. But a positive thing came out of it, because when we decided we wanted to be a hardcore raid guild, the original charter was formed. And that original charter, even though what we have now is really not quite nothing like what we had back then, it still grew from that point into the original guild charter that it is today. So we laid the ground, unintentionally, laid the groundwork for the charter that governs the Grievance organization today. And most of the guilds.
And thank goodness the charter's done.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
I think half the things we added that there was for you.
I've been a problem child.
Travis bucked the system a few times.
Yes, I have been a problem child. Because I wanted a hardcore raid for quite a while.
We did it. I mean, we were never the first to do anything, but we did it.
Well, no. Well, yeah.
I was. It was just all that slow
But yeah, EQ2, like we got to where we were clearing it one day, everything in one day. It was brutal. Then you sit around for a week and do nothing. Nice.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember keeping up with all our people on pen and paper as well. I would know your name, your address, your phone number, so if you went missing, I could check on you.
And this is before the days of voice over IP software.
Right, exactly.
So we were all furiously
Type. Right, or on the phone.
We had a call list. If a certain dragon popped up,
Yes,
we would make
I need a healer. I need a
a call
bard.
list. That was
awesome.
Yeah. 3
File
o'clock in the
cabinets
morning.
full of
Hey,
maps.
can you play?
Yes.
Briefcases.
Let me roll out of bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was also before instancing. It was all shared zones, competition.
Yep.
It wasn't friendly like now.
No.
No,
Hey,
but it also,
meet
on
from
the
8
other
to
hand,
9
it built
and
community too, though, because you had to work together.
You had to.
I mean, there was respect in these games. If somebody was hitting Chardock and you went in there and you did a queen check and somebody would say, such and such guild raiding queen, then out of respect, you would back off and you'd say, okay, let's go raid something else. There was a lot of respect in games back then, unlike a lot of the ones nowadays.
And if they didn't respect it, you could teach them a really brutal lesson.
Well, pretty much most of
I think I still have my original DK.
Kuko's found his.
Oh my gosh.
That was from Miku too.
Oh, that's me too.
That's amazing.
I had the ledger for
it was
years.
the members and their classes and their roles, and it was just like a big spreadsheet.
And we tried about everything.
I couldn't keep a
Officers,
freaking druid
DKP.
class leader to save our life. It was like anybody who was the druid class leader was mentally unstable. Every single one of them.
You did good with shamans too.
No, I did not. Oh God, that was bad.
Since
we
we're
won't talk
touching
about
on
that.
memories, I think a lot of us would like to know. You have so much history. Oh, what? I remember those days in EQ, not with Grievance though. Corpse runs, spawn camps, etc. Oh, Death Star, yeah. Worry about Slate to the Tunnel. Does that bring back memories?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Slate to the tunnel, yes, absolutely. I forgot.
Oh, nice.
A lot.
Thank you.
You have so many memories compiled, especially in the early days. Obviously, we've created even more and more and more, but just the things that had happened when you're playing EQ, when you're playing Star Wars Galaxies. I've heard some of them, but I think it would be really fun if you guys would be willing to share some of those stories, because they are outstanding. I've loved listening to them, so please share with our membership.
Give us an EQ story.
I'll tell you one in particular. I was just talking to Deuce about this earlier.
Speak up just a little bit.
Okay.
Up a little. No, speak.
One that I was talking to Deuce about earlier today. I get a call from Chad. He was camping Queen. I don't even remember.
Chardock person?
Might have been. I don't remember.
One, the
He
Chardock
was-
one, it needed more than one person to camp that
No,
one.
yeah, there was several, but they were camping this contested mob. Been there 14, 16 hours. She spawns. Somebody comes in, steal kills, and I get a call from Chad. Furious. Hollering and screaming. I'm at work. I'm like, I don't
major
know
nerd
what
rage back then.
Don't know what I'm
Nerd
supposed to do. So at this point it became, how can I bring my computer to work? And thankfully, still said, I don't think that's a good idea at 911 to be playing a game.
He was a 911 dispatcher back then, so he was contemplating how to bring his computer to work so he could play EverQuest while he was taking 911 phone calls. I was like, I really don't think that's a good idea.
Well, in the long run, you did it yourself.
Well, not as bad as him.
Yeah.
There was a really good story about him.
Yeah,
Tell
there-
us the
there
story
really is.
about that one.
Which one?
The one where,
The one where
you said,
you,
wait,
almost
I
lost the job."
have to get my corpse.
No, I think I was
That was a
in the middle.
misunderstanding.
I think I was in the middle of killing a mob, and it was just about dead. A fire alarm came in.
No, it was a code from what I heard.
I don't remember.
A
but-
heart attack.
But something came in, and this mob's just fixing to die. It's like 1,000 gold. And I'm like, they're like, hey, we got a call. I'm like, I'm coming, and I'm trying to kill this critter. They gave me a hard time. But it's
Yeah.
1,000 gold. But thank goodness I played a necromancer. So
And the
I
guy
was-
lived, from what I heard. Or did he not?
The mob?
No, the guy having a heart attack.
I was worried about the 1,000
I don't
gold.
care about that guy. All I remember is that I killed that.
Wait, I gotta
They
kill
gave
this
me a
guy
hard time about
first.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, hard time.
You know, good old work-life balance.
Yeah.
Right?
It's 1,000 gold though.
Yep.
I remember you were telling me a story about some things,
I have
some
several.
shenanigans.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna tell you a different one.
Okay, all right.
There was this mob that was, I think it was like level in the 30 zone that you were camping, and it would drop that thing, but you can only have one. The
That was
spear.
that was the Chardock
That's
spear.
the one
The
I
charred
wanted to
out
keep.
spear. Yep, for the key.
Yeah.
And he's like, he calls me. He's like, Caitlin, I need you to come to this zone right now. Just get here. I'm like, okay, I've never been to this zone. I get lost in a paper bag, dude. Really, no, just
That
come
was
here.
stupid, that's
Wet
stupid.
one, too.
That's stupid to call you for that one,
But,
yeah.
but I came, and I died a lot getting to this area.
Yeah.
And he's like, he felt so bad because I died so much. I even lost the level.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, just breathing. And he's like, okay, pick that up, pick it up. I'm like, okay. He's like, it's all yours. I'm like, or hold on to that or something. And
Oh, I think I felt so bad at that.
It was hold on.
Right,
It was a hold on to it. That's what it was there for. Because you couldn't hold it.
You died
can only hold
so
so
it
many
up.
times.
You died so many times. I was like, you can just keep that.
Yeah, he felt really bad.
That's all for you.
It was awesome.
Just
It
take
was,
this.
that was
I'm
pretty
done
funny.
with
I was just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, but mentioning that mob, this is a pretty good story. It was a new zone. It was a raid zone. You had to get that item for every member of your guild.
Oh, is this?
So people would show up, and I'm sitting there camping him. They're like, "Hey, how often does this guy spawn?" And he's on a timer,
One of the
right?
big items.
So I'd be like, "Man, he only shows up every 12 hours." They're like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "But I have one if you'd like to buy it, and I think I have one on another account." And they're like, so they would buy it, and I'd run them off. He's spawning in 30 seconds, and I'd kill him and start my time for 2 hours. The next guild would come in, hey, how long did, oh, he's 12 hours spawn. I made a killing on that mob. I mean, I had so many guilds pay me, and they're thinking 12 hours spawn.
But see, he was a necro. He could freaking feign death right there.
And if they try to take it,
Get up, kill him, lay back down again.
and I had some
Naughty.
very priceless items. So like if they would try to take it, I could run through the whole zone, come by them in Viz. Mid-run, never cast a spell, just hit an item.
Yep,
Bring
back
dark
then,
eye.
monsters didn't go back as soon as you disappeared.
Yeah.
They ran forward a little bit more. If they discovered
They
something,
would stop. So I mean, I played 24/7. And
Literally.
Literally.
I controlled that key.
Wait a
Controlled
second.
it.
Train to zone.
Probably, yeah, I
Choo-choo.
guarantee.
I think I remember a story, something about you drove over to Trass's house.
Oh, yes.
I want to hear that story because that. Come on
I don't
now.
know. You ain't
That was for
That
was for Star Wars.
That was for
That's
Star Wars.
Galaxy.
Okay, we are moving on from EQ to Star Wars Galaxies, but this story has stuck with me.
Well, let me give the history of that is I've always been hardcore. I've always played at least 2 characters, 3 characters, maybe more. Star Wars
usually
Gal-
at the same time.
yeah,
the same time.
and I can play them pretty good too, altogether. Like EQ1, I played a tank, a
Merc the meat.
Merc the Meat, I played
Common iguana.
a Common Iguana,
So me, please.
yeah, the Druid, and then the Healer. So it depended on what if I needed a monk, I could play a monk, and he had the Fungi Tunic, the Tranquil Staff. I mean, my accounts, I should have sold them, good lord. It's probably $10,000 worth of stuff, if not more. But anyways, so I always played a lot of accounts. When we started Star Wars Galaxies, I saw the business potential. I've always been about the business potential of the game. So we got into the game, I'm like, man, these buffs are really nice. So I started, anytime, I made the best buffs in the game, just by far. Man, was it Avenia?
Yes.
Avenia, yeah.
My Avenia buffs were the best in the game. And I would target specific resources, and when they came out and they were good, I'd buy everything. And then the price went up it was hard.
And they allowed macros in Star Wars. They flat out
Yes.
said in SWG,
Yep. Everything
you
is
can do
macros.
macros. It's fine.
So I made the best buffs. People would come to me personally when I'm out with my bot. Well, I think I had my Jedi at the time. Mm-hmm. One of the first Jedis. I think I was number 2, 3 on the server.
Yeah, Kenny was the
Kenny was-
second.
Yes, and I
You
think
were
I was
right
number
after
3.
him.
Those are very difficult for any of you that did not play Star Wars Galaxies.
Extremely difficult.
Yeah,
Very difficult.
and they had permadeath.
Back then.
They had permadeath at the time, so if they killed your character, he was dead. So I had some of the best buffs on the server, and I had people that would come out to me, chase me down, follow me all. I'm like, guys, come on. So I ended up parking my healer, my healer in a buff house, and she had a macro, and she would You would pay what 5,000, 10,000, 20,000
When you
gold,
walk through the
whatever,
door.
just to get to the door. And then she would invite you to the group. You would target her, invite her. She would accept the invite, target you, buff you, and then sit back down, tell you to have a good time, and leave
This
the group.
is all a macro.
All macro, running,
macro.
running nonstop. So when I would work for 24 hours, or if there was an issue, if she ran out of buffs or whatever, Caitlin would go to the house and kick and get her started.
Basically,
for
kick
her.
the squirrels.
That's the part that I want you to explain in detail.
Yeah.
Make sure people
So-
understand.
So she would go to the house and turn that on. I also had the entertainer.
When
I
she
had an
says
entertainer.
go to the house, just for all of you that are not here, what Trass is really saying is Caitlin would drive her car
His house.
Yes.
to his physical house in real life land,
Real life.
get on the computer.
And she's really good about getting everything going. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I just leave? It'll be okay. I'll do it when. But they need it. But you figure
And
it
you
out.
would have, and there was a line.
gosh.
There was a line because when you
Literally.
would call me,
A line.
I would go to the buff house with my character still at my house, and I would say, "Okay, guys, give me a minute. I gotta get in the car. I go turn on his healer, and I will buff y'all. Just give me a minute." And they were like, "Oh, thank God!" And then I would get to his house, and I would type on his healer. I'm like, "Okay, this is Caitlin. Just give me a minute to get her going, and your buffs will be delivered to you momentarily." Oh, and everybody's like bowing
But
down
that's
to
like
my
the whole zone,
character,
yeah.
and I'm trying to get everybody, all his buffers going.
But the buffs were substantial. I mean, you'd have like 800 hit points, and my buffs were like 8,000.
Wow.
I mean,
In order
it
to
was-
be any kind of competitive to PvP world, you had to have Trass's
His
buffs.
buffs.
You had to, or you were worthless.
However, where was PvP not allowed?
Yeah, in our city.
But that was
With
awesome.
that power that he created with his buffs, we were allowed to create our own rules
In
Yeah.
our
in
community.
our community.
Yeah, because you did not want to be
Because-
on the ban list of that house.
Yeah, we actually correctly identified before the game even launched that the economy in SWG was going to be where the power was in the game, and we set it up. His buff house. Then we pulled in all the vendors,
The best
vendors
Best
on the
vendors.
server. Ended up wanting to be there where all the traffic was.
Yes.
So, anybody play Star Wars Galaxies? Get Scott. He knows how to work it. I know nothing about that. He's downstairs in that with a hat.
I think we're getting food. We're getting lumpia.
Anyway,
I think so.
anyway.
Yes, we are.
We correctly identified that the economy was the powerhouse of this game
With the resources.
and the
And
resources.
we immediately freaking mass covered the world with gathering resources.
Oh yeah.
Well, we kind of cheated. We knew the bug to begin with.
Actually, that was the next thing I was going to bring up because it's also hilarious to me.
Oh, the burning of everything.
And so that and just the taking it, the being very heavy, can't move. But
That was
working
EverQuest.
really hard. Oh, that was
We'll get to that in a
EverQuest.
minute.
All right,
we'll back up there.
these gosh darn stories.
We'll finish Star Wars
So let's
Galaxies
talk
first.
about the two bugs. We're gonna start with Star Wars Galaxies, and then we're gonna move on to that one because that
goes
one
back to
I
making money.
will never. money.
Star Wars
And roofing
Galaxies.
houses.
They had a bug to where you could set up mining, automatic miners,
Harvesters.
mining harvesters. And the thing was, they would deplete and start burning, and then they would blow up. But there was a specific size that would not blow up. It'd get to 1 hit point and stay. But it's burning. It's literally burning, smoking. We had thousands of these. Thousands all over our city.
all over the planet.
Yes.
We had a
Yes.
guy that was his sole job was to find the best resources in the game. He had a team under him, and he would set the harvesters up, and they would just harvest them
And
for
there
Grievance.
was somebody's job that they just went around and gathered.
Yeah.
That's all they did. 24/7.
But again, these things are burning, so it's like you come through our area and it's just nothing but smoke.
Looks like the pictures out of the Middle East of
It's
all
like,
the burning oil
oh,
wells.
just in case you didn't know. It's okay. There's firemen here. We're cool.
No, it's good.
But yeah, we
Good
actually
thing it wasn't a pretty Naboo.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually built 2 Class 5 cities side by side into one city, so I had 2 shuttle ports. But we were so powerful in that game that in an open PvP game, if you were flagged, if you were flagged Rebel or Imperial, it was open PvP and people could kill you anywhere. But they didn't touch you if you were in our city.
You would have Imperials and Rebels standing in line.
Flag.
I mean,
Side by side.
their flag flashing, and they would stand there and wouldn't say a word. They'd get
They
their
get
buffs,
buffs, they get the hell out.
and
We
sometimes they would
changed-
run outside the city and
We
have it out, but they
changed
would
the
not.
rules of the game on our server. If you PvP'd in our city, every vendor in the city would ban you from their vendors.
And we have the best
the
vendors.
And there
best
was people that
vendors.
happened to, and there was people that probably 6 months, a year, maybe they would come begging back, and we would let them back in. But
Yeah,
they would pay for
literally.
their time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they would have to make a very hefty donation to the city hall if they wanted to be
The
banned. If they did
power.
It really. I mean, we
it again. It
controlled
worked.
the game.
We
to this
controlled the
extent.
game.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really awesome.
That's a new one. I had not heard that particular story before, so I like that one.
Yeah.
So, balancing off of that one.
I was hoping you'd forget about that.
Are you kidding me? What's so weird? Grievance and Steel Hearts. And then to hear what you did. This is the dark side. by
It is
the
the
way.
dark side.
Well,
This is a
why don't
side
you
to
explain
our-
this and
our
I'll lead into it? Because this is kind of you.
It's his fault.
They're so cute, aren't they? Our little lovely founders.
Let's start it off. EQ
Naughty,
one.
naughty.
You can make some money.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
That's
real
my
money.
I mean, we're talking
I never got to make
thousands and
But-
thousands of dollars.
Oh my
Plain and
gosh.
simple. There was a case in China where a girlfriend got pissed off at her boyfriend, destroyed his account. He sued her, and he proved where it was real life money, and won the case.
Ooh.
Because I mean, it's a game, it's imaginary money, but there's a value. There's a value to it.
So explain to us this bug that
This bug
got
and
you,
EQ.
Kook, and Caitlin banned.
I don't recall the bug.
I plead the fifth.
Well, as I recall it, it had to do with duplicating items that you already possessed, and along with gold, platinum, whatever.
It replicated everything in your bank one time over.
Pretty much, yeah. And you could repeat it and do it over and over and over. So even though you had items that you were only supposed to have one of, you could basically make more of them.
You could have multiple lore items. Is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Cloaks of Flames,
My-
Fungi Tunics.
My mana stone.
Mana stones.
That there was 4 on the server. That's what got y'all. There was
Yes.
4
Yep, that's
mana
what
stones
she
on the
said.
server.
We made more.
And then it went to about
I
20
had one.
in
And
a
everybody
day.
knew I was one of the few that had one.
Yes, and all of a sudden we were selling them like candy. You know?
Yes, that was the bad idea.
But it did put a roof on my house, so you know. But no, it has a lot of funny stories. For example, what was hinted on earlier is you literally would make so much stuff that you couldn't move, or if you did,
Gold had a physical
Weight.
weight, and
Right.
your movement was affected by your weight.
if you move, because you have to transport all this stuff, whether it's to another character or the bank or whatever. If you move, you're literally going at a snail's pace.
Even when
And-
you had to be sewed.
Yes, yes.
You had to be so neat to move anything.
And if you go off a half of a step, you dead. You know, just going downstairs.
Because of fall damage. You take
One
fall
stair.
damage when you fall.
Yeah, which is where the story comes from, where I had to call him.
Yeah. All right. So now you have the background. Now you
Yeah,
tell the story.
now you
Now
got
that
the
we
background.
have this,
Yes.
I want to hear
So-
the story of you.
I'll tell it because
So-
I think it's more funny from my
Oh, it
perspective.
is.
So Chad calls me and he's like, "Dude, I need your help." I'm like, "Man, I'm over here grinding. You know, I got my 3 accounts I'm botting, or not botting. I wasn't botting at the time. But I got the 3 accounts I'm playing, and Chad says, I need your help. So I go over there, and he's dead. I'm like, how the hell did you die here? It's, you poured in and you died. So I read.
Well, you said, what happened? Did the Iscar kill you? I'm like, yeah.
So I rezzed him, and when he was rezzed, somebody else poured it in, and you had collision in EQ1. If somebody was standing there, you couldn't get out.
Right.
So like if somebody took a,
You ported me.
could so mess. But I poured you. Well, anyways, I
Yeah,
poured
well,
you.
after I died like 5 times, you ported
And when
me,
you
and I
poured-
landed on top
when
of
you
somebody,
poured-
and then went boom, boom,
You're like
boom, and I was
2
dead.
feet off the ground and you poured into somewhere, and you automatically drop. So you take fall damage.
But it's like
when
a
you pour
point.
somewhere.
A point of
Yeah, but
damage.
it's only like 1 point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you got all that gold,
When you've got 500,000 platinum on you.
So
Which the game was not designed to have on one character.
So Chad ports in and dies. I'm like, what? So I res him, and he's like, dude, I can't move. I'm like, why can't you move? He said, just give me a saw. So I already got my druid, so then I give him a saw, and he's running off at like, so I'm like, something's going on.
and then he goes,
He hits, a little bitty rock.
I stubbed my toe.
A little bitty rock.
Literally, in game terms, it would be stubbing your toe.
And when he walked over the rock and dropped down, he died. I was like, what's going on? At this point, I knew something's going on. He's like, man, nothing's going on. I'm like, I'm not resin. He's like, I'm not telling you. I'm like, lay there and then. He's like, I'm not supposed to tell. I'm like, okay. So you can go from there.
Yeah, that was
supposed to
bad.
tell, come on.
That was bad because it
Y'all had fun with the money.
we had fun.
For
We built
6
Grievance
months, it was
up.
like living like a king. And he,
Look, we were so tired of being a stepping stone. And we were literally a stepping stone. We, like I said, we were gilding 2 people or 3 people and losing 2 for every 3 we gilded. People would get into the guild, they would get their druid epic or they'd get their cleric epic, and then they would leave to go to another guild to get their other stuff faster.
And you're talking
because
about, we would spend almost a week getting somebody an epic and then gone. And you had to have some of those epics to
yeah.
do
they
certain
had to have that
So-
ready to get in some
So,
Right.
whereas some people put a roof on their house, I kind of saw this as a way like we can give a cloak of flames to this person or a fungi tunic to this person.
This
or-
bard got tricked out.
Yeah, she got tricked out and then banned.
Then
But
that's a whole nother story. They didn't,
But
they didn't
you know,
get
so
that.
and it worked. Was it worth it? Yeah.
In the long run, it made us what we are today.
It made us what we are today. We survived, and we were not surviving at that time.
This helped build some of that
Yeah.
really funny character.
We-
The
Oh, yeah.
quirky- the
We learned a
quirkiness that
lesson.
is
We learned
us.
a lesson.
You know, it's all good.
We learn a lesson, and we all have
It's called
different
don't get caught.
personalities, as you can tell at the table. It's, Thilo's more reserved, Smo's a little more reserved, Ruff is kind of business-minded, Trask has always been thrifty, Caitlin's always been Mama Kate, Kook has always been kind of like the wise man,
It looks like
Papa.
that, too.
Yeah, you look the part more nowadays than you did back then. So
You have an adopted daughter.
so it is, and our kids, our kids that grew up with us playing this game.
Some of them don't like it, some of them do.
Yeah. And if you read the history of Grievance, some of us had some pretty interesting home lives during that time.
Yeah.
That's when games used to suck into
Oh,
your
and they
life.
did.
They
Every
didn't call
single
it.
one of
They
us.
didn't call it Evercrack.
Yeah.
For nothing.
No.
Every single one of us were sucked in, lock,
Calling in
stock,
sick.
and barrel.
I mean,
Calling in sick because you had to get a corpse run, letting somebody almost die because you had to get a corpse run. Missing work. I remember that
Yeah.
big fear.
Raid was coming up, we had to go to it. Call it
Yeah. Or for a while they let us bring computers to work, and we would be sitting there on shift.
We'd be at the
gaming.
fire station raiding.
Yeah.
All night long.
All night long. I would actually
brutal.
make sure hilarious. I would actually work 48-hour shifts so I could play the game more.
It's card didn't like it.
So we started off with some kind of hardcore roots, very interesting roots. But would you not say that that is how families grow?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is how it begins. If you really think about it like a tree. With those roots, they grow down, then they grow out. And at that core is where it starts. Really planted those very deep roots, created family. And then now we can grow up and we're looking and we have this lineage. We have this family, right? We are growing out and further and further and further and further and further.
The tree's getting big.
The tree is getting big, it's heavy, and it's very fruitful.
That is that.
You know, we probably need to put pen to paper one day, sit down, and kind of get in like EQ1, like really a lot of this, like how it started.
Oh yeah, because we only really touched. I only really touched on it in the
There's a
history.
short version, but there's also
There's
expand on it
a
so much.
long version.
Yeah.
How about I'm putting this to you, the founders? These stories are. We're growing up like I grew up with games. My dad. Like I learned all of this from my dad. I know many gamers. But you know what I'd really love to read is a story of a guild.
Well, we really should. I mean, because it's been 16 years,
There's a lot of
and
history.
it is really amazing.
You can start at the beginning and go to present.
Oh, we
and
got a good
I
outline.
think that we have something really beautiful here. Look where we're at right now.
Yeah, this is humbling in itself.
It really
It's
is.
a nice house.
Look at all the people that are here. They're every single one of these people. I know that I can go and talk to you, Young. His name is Young. Not the same Young.
It's Harry.
Yeah,
You are saying that.
you are saying that.
He's blushing. He's blushing.
And I can talk to you, Con. I can talk to every single one of you. And this is because of what you started.
No clue it'd get this big.
Huh?
No clue it would get
No.
this big.
No way.
No.
No way, but this is where we're at.
And this is one of the only
It's-
guilds that can actually write that book.
This is a guild that can write that book. We are not those other massive machines. We are
No,
we
far
are
from
family. We are not a machine. We are a beating heart, is what I'd like to say. And it all started from you guys. And so I am so, it's wonderful. And I really I implore you guys to actually put together those thoughts, those history that what happened, because those are all things that so many of us can relate to, think back on, and love. Because that's the root of where the way that we game today. All of it. So, cheers to all of you.
Thank you.
I am so honored to be in your presence, and thank you for letting me question you.
Well, does anybody have any questions for us?
Yeah, that's good.
Anybody stream? Anybody have?
I want to say thank you for all y'all here being here.
Because look, we started it, but we didn't make it what it is today. That's everybody here.
Everybody
That's
else.
everybody there. You know.
This is
it's-
why. How humble is that? You're all so
Very.
humble.
Oh, very.
Let me tell you, that's what makes such a difference. You are all so humble. And we absolutely love all of you. Yay. Oh.
Anybody have any questions? Curious about anything?
Any questions?
founders we've had to get together?
Yes.
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 When you guys started back 16 years ago, could you even fathom 11,000 people?
No.
We couldn't fathom 50 people. What are you talking about?
We just wanted to raid and have fun together and have our own rules.
I mean, we used to do this get-together thing at his house, my house,
His garage.
house, you know.
Yeah, we'd have 10 people show up to a 2-hour luncheon at Applebee's in Gulfport, and that was our get together.
That's what
It was.
this
And
has
people
grown
would
into.
drive from Kentucky to come sit with us for 2 or 3 hours and eat.
See, seed has to
and,
grow.
and now we spend 4 or 5 days in a
Mansion.
castle, mansion, whatever you want to call this thing,
Thingamajigger.
with 100+ family
More than
members.
just thingamajigger.
It's really it's freaking humbling.
It's our people, and it's for the people. It's almost like you guys are like the Musketeers, but not the three.
Well, at least you didn't call us the old people.
Oh, the what?
Old people.
That's just rude. You ageist, you.
I'm getting there.
Oh my.
Any other questions?
I will say this, one of the biggest things we learned is the family. It's not about the rating. It's not about being the top guild and so forth. It's about the family.
It is about the family.
And always remember, guys, regardless of what you're playing, how hardcore you are, real life comes first. And Grievance understands it.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Real life comes first.
We've been there.
You know? And if you ever jump games, this is real important. A lot of people get ashamed and like, man, I'm going to let these people down. I don't care if you're the top tank, you've been given all the best gear. When it's your time, let somebody know and go to another family. Don't be ashamed of it.
Go play another game.
Go have fun with another group. You know, just let your people know. I mean, that's what this is about. Real life first. And if you're sick of that game, stay in the family.
Absolutely. Just hang out in TeamSpeak if you don't want to play anything.
Right.
We want to know what you're up to.
Or founders.
We have a
far
really
as-
great question from Nova here. So for the founders, I ask this every year, what are you playing right now?
Yeah.
What game or games?
And very few
We're
of us are playing
looking-
any games right now.
Pantheon.
But Pantheon has high hopes.
Yes.
Because actually you were very great resource on that because you have more dialogue.
I can't tell you as much as Deuce or Cooch can about Pantheon. I can't tell you as much as Deuce or Cooch can about Pantheon, but I think I speak for everybody at the table. That's pretty much what all of us are looking forward to.
Absolutely.
It's by
It's the
Brad.
waiting game.
Yeah.
With bated breath.
Yes.
Yes.
It's by Brad, the creator of EverQuest, and it's gonna. Mobius, where are you? But anyway, you know.
I love you, Mobius.
You'll be able to see that on screen, right?
What?
Electronically.
Everybody that's watching can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I speak for everybody at the table. We're waiting on Pantheon.
Yes.
That's what the founders are playing next. I mean, some of us are playing over
D&D?
D&D. Waiting.
Yeah, I've had a hard time trying to balance my business-orientated personality with gaming here lately.
Real life
but
business.
right.
Businesses.
And like Travis said, you know, real life comes first, and you know, I kind of really miss playing a good game. At the same time, I'm almost afraid of being addicted like I was back in EQ. So it's kind of a toss-up. Sure, I want to play something, but at the moment, there's just nothing really that gets me.
The thing
So-
I can say just from what I've been reading regarding even a game like Pantheon, it's trying to bring back some of the things that made social gaming social.
And that's so
exciting.
good and bad at the same time.
They still are going to utilize more modern gaming techniques that developers are using just to make it so that you can play the game without having what happened in EQ1.
Right.
You know? So
But-
there's a little bit more balance.
But EQ1, I mean, you had months and months and months invested in a character. WoW,
Yeah.
to hit a max level in 12 hours,
Yeah.
there's no investment there. You got everybody wanting to play alts and bring alts to raids and everything
And
like
back
that.
at that time, you know, I don't think any of us had another side job, and so we had tons and tons of time.
We didn't know any different.
We had
That's how
hardcore
gaming
games.
was.
Yeah, and I'm like me personally. I'm not looking forward to another game. I'm not wanting to play another game. I mean, it'd be neat to have another EQ out there or something like that. But I'm working on the farm. I'll be here at every real life get together if I can do it. And
And we'll drag
it's
you to
about
Pantheon.
It's
Go
about
ahead.
the community, you know. It's not about the game for me. It's about the community. And I would like to start playing D&D and all that with you guys, but I'd have to be able to do it from a mobile because I don't have the computer.
Zynite, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. So, just what Trask was saying is, even if there's not a game you're currently playing, we're branching out. We have tabletop and D&D. We're playing these. You don't have to game in a digital game. You can just join us and have a social adventure. It's kind of amazing. So, join us for that. Oh my God, I cannot believe how much it's taken off. I'm so excited about that. I absolutely adore that. And Nova, so Steely, that question is directed to you. So making more Pantheon project videos. Are you planning on doing that?
Maybe. We've batted around the ideas about where's Pantheon now and doing some more newscasts on that. It would definitely be something I'd have to have Cooge and Deuce and maybe a couple others with, because, you know, I'm not following it as hard as they are. I'm following it, but I'm almost afraid to get my hopes up like everybody at this table. We got high expectations for this one, and you know, it's kind of nothing against any games that are out, but none of them's rekindled that fire that we had back.
Too much hand holding.
Too much
That's
hand
what it boils
holding.
down to.
You know, we're not looking for 16-hour corpse runs.
Definitely not.
You know, we're not looking
don't
for
die.
loss of life,
But we are looking for
Be
the
afraid
but
to
we want a
die.
challenge. We
But
want
be
a little
afraid.
risk. We want to fear going into a new zone again.
Yes.
You remember Lesser Fay?
Oh yeah.
Really,
Oh, yeah.
it was ushered in by WoW. It brought. I have to say, you have to give WoW and the games that came after it respect, because it brought many more gamers into the fold.
Oh, yeah.
But
It
now
lowered
those
the bar.
people,
They all lowered the bar.
But
But
they
it-
brought people in.
They brought people
yes,
in.
absolutely.
you have to say that how much more socially acceptable it is to be gamers. To do what we're doing now, I can talk to all of my coworkers. I can talk to a random person, and they're like, "Wow, that's actually really cool." Instead of going, "Oh,
Or you're one of them.
crazy," you know, it's not like that anymore. So we are at a point when they don't really need to hold our hands so much, because gaming is a thing. We have sports. It's now a sport.
Oh yeah.
Just like
Tournaments
poker
and
became
yeah, it's like
a sport. This is
millions
a
of dollars
sport.
involved in
It's cool
Oh,
now.
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Now is the time for our developers who are in MMOs to stop that trend, and to now go into, they want this to be interactive and challenging,
Well, yeah. I
just
think-
like single player games.
I think we're starting to see a little pendulum swing.
Absolutely.
It's developers are realizing that.
It's
excuse
not
me,
all
I'm
about
sorry.
the buck,
That
which
yeah.
has been for a long time.
People
now.
are getting in the game. They're hitting max level in 2 to 3 months.
And they're
then
gone.
Unless they raid, they're gone.
Gone.
And I mean,
And
we've
if
seen
you do
it
raid, you're doing the same thing over and
over
over
and over and
The
over.
end game
Dailies.
blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, dailies. Okay. And they're smart. We talked about this. We've all talked about this a long time. A lot of players didn't like the journey, didn't like the grind in between levels. So the developers, they're crafty bastards. They took the grind out of the levels and they put it on the end game as dailies.
Yep.
So instead of taking a little longer to get to max level, you just end up doing
All
10
of
to
it.
20 dailies every single day, same thing every single day, over and over and over again to earn your little badges so you can get your sword. I would have rather taken the journey, gotten to the level where I could go into the dungeon and get that
journey's
damn
worth
sword.
Content.
That's how guilds were formed.
Yeah, absolutely. The journey. How often do you hear that? It's the journey that
Oh,
takes
you don't
there.
hear it anymore.
And I will say this, like, do you remember the first time we went in Greiger's End? I think was the name of it.
Wow.
We go into this
Wow.
dungeon.
Breathe.
I found the soundtrack for that.
Yeah, I would like. We need to have the soundtrack. But we go into this dungeon, and you hear doors creaking, and The women actually said, we're done. Because what would happen is you'd be there and play, and you'd hear like,
Then you hear, mommy.
and you'd hear a child cry, and she'd say, Mama, come back. I mean, it was like
freaky.
goosebumps, like what? So I'm this big troll warrior, and Chad's like, go pool. I'm like, I don't know this area. He's like, it'll be okay, just go pool. So I go, and I open up the door, and I hear a scream, and I'm running back. I'm like,
He didn't
it's
bring
coming.
nothing back.
It's coming. It's coming. So I run all the way back to him. I'm like, it's coming. And then wait,
We're all
it's
standing there.
coming.
We're all ready. We got 40 beats in here. We're ready.
There's nothing. It was just that scream.
You just scared
It
the
was the
crap out of
soundtrack.
But you were afraid though.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of Jack at any game today.
No.
You were afraid if you went from Greater Fay to, what was it, Steam Font.
Oh, at
Going along
nighttime.
the
Oh,
left
my God.
wall. No,
At
just
nighttime.
going along the left wall
Yeah.
over there because you were scared that brownie was going to be on the left wall. And if he was, you were done.
Oh yes,
And it was
I
a
do
real
know this.
fear.
I remember that. And actually, I think like, the fear makes you appreciate your game.
And God forbid
Way
you fall
more.
off the boat and die from the shark eating you, and you need a necro with a what was that
Coffin.
thing? The coffin.
Yeah, that was, thank God for them.
Yeah, no kidding. All
Swimming
your
around
crap
looking for a
gone.
corpse. I'm like, matter of fact, we had multiple people die and lose their corpses. I'm like, man, I'll just give you the money. How much money you think you had? I'll just give it to you. We'll go buy you some stuff. I don't want to go look for this. Because you go out there and you try to summon corpse, you try to summon it, you weren't ranged. Oh hell, come on, we go over here. Try to summon, not ranged. Just like literally checking the. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's like doing a search.
Just let me give you
Search pattern.
1,000
Get through the
gold.
search pattern to find it.
Yeah, but anyways. Some of it was brutal, but it was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
It was good.
Very
But it
fun.
made you really, really fear about dying.
It also made you appreciate your guild and the friends you made in game. You know,
And you respected the
You
community.
had to depend on other
absolutely,
people.
absolutely respected the community.
Yeah. Here's a story for you. I can be very brutal when you've got idiots. We had a guy. He spent about $2,500 on a account, and he was a total tool in EQ1. So everybody knows he bought this account. He's being a total jerk to the community. He thinks he's a big shot because he spent $2,500. So
He's got a
after
big, strong character.
so after listening to
Who
him, and
dies to level
everybody's
5 characters because he can't play the damn thing.
everybody's sick of listening to him. He wants to go somewhere. I'm like, I'll take you. So I invite him. I poured him over to the dragon area. Have him follow me. Kill him in the dragon area.
I know what you're talking about.
He lost his
That
corpse.
pour-in was brutal.
Brutal. He lost his corpse. Nobody would help him. $2,500 later, his corpse goes, and he lost everything.
See, back in EverQuest,
Everything.
and even Dark Age of Camelot, and UO for sure back then, your reputation was way more important than any
Anything
item
else.
or level that you had.
Oh, yeah.
You had a bad reputation on that server, you were done.
Yeah, I was almost famous during that time for shutting that idiot up.
Ouch.
There were entire websites dedicated to bad players. And I don't mean bad
Do
players.
you remember Cecil Anthony?
Like jerks.
Yes.
Yes.
There was a guy in EQ2. Cecil was a total tool, and they had a guy play a woman just for the purpose of getting him. So Cecil falls in love with this woman. They go into a room and they have
Relations.
Yes.
Relations, that's a good word.
this homeboy screenshots everything, and they set up a website for Cecil.
Oh
It was-
no.
That was in the room.
I don't remember how, but so they had everything, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
But yeah, your reputations were everything in EverQuest. If you were a good tank, good healer, good player, your freaking tells would just line up as soon as you logged in. Need a tank, need DPS, need a healer. Come tank for us, you know.
Need a chanter.
Yeah, Chanter
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Grievance may have not ever been the top guild on the server, but we had a reputation of having really, really good and nice players, and we were well respected on the server. And that's whenever we got in over our head,
Yeah,
we could just.
had to call on some help before.
Oh yeah, a lot of times. Whenever we got in over our head, we could message Fires Within or the Dark Exile or some of the other big top server guilds, and they would come in and bail us out because we were looking at 16 hours plus for a freaking corpse run, which sucked.
That happened.
Yep, Zionite, the server forums were bad, but EQ Flames was where it was. We used to have Caitlin. I used to have Caitlin. She would check EQ. Anybody ever apply to Grievance, she would go to EQ Flames first to make sure they weren't
They
listed
weren't
there.
on the flames. Absolutely, every time.
And I mean, if you had a bad,
You're doing a damn good job
You're
of it too,
doing great,
Lorraine.
Lorraine. We love you.
Yeah, you're doing awesome.
Is that still live?
yeah, I
The
mean,
Sicilianta stuff is still on the way.
yeah. So look at that. Cooge is saying that. Can they hear you, Cooge?
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyways, but yeah. So you have to look up Cecil. Is it Cecil Anthus or Cilianthus?
I will put a link to it.
There you
There we go.
He's
Link
gonna
it.
give you a
Link
link.
it.
Woo!
But I mean, you had to respect the community. So, if not, you paid for it. You paid for it. We done? What is it?
It's all her.
All eyes on you.
All eyes on you.
Now I feel like the bad guy. All right, so any last questions to our founders? We'll wait the traditional, it's like 15 to 30 seconds.
I do miss it.
Oh,
Like,
it's
every
for
time
Lorraine.
you leveled in EQ1, it was so rare and far between that you celebrated every time you
Yes.
gained a level.
Oh, you'd say
Anytime somebody leveled, you'd be shouting, "Ding!"
Yeah.
And it meant something.
It
Do
means,
you remember when I showed you
it means
EverQuest the
something.
first time?
to keep it.
Yes, I do.
Do you remember
Yeah,
when I
then
showed
the
you?
And then it
keep
was
it. That's
keeping
right.
Yeah,
This-
I lost
this is a-
56
this is a good one.
multiple times.
I invited him over to my house to show him EverQuest.
This great game. Now he wanted me to start playing this great game. Everybody's playing. You got to come over and see this.
I'd only been playing like a week or two. I didn't know nothing about it.
So I drive over there. We sit down, and he creates a new character, picks a server, creates a character.
And you asked, why is the server red?
Yes, I said, why is this server red? I don't really know. He walks out the gate, bam, dead.
I got fireballed by another
I
player.
was like, wow, that was interesting. So he comes back, he walks out there again, bam, dead. Like, yeah, this
is not a game
sounds
for
like
me, I'm
fun.
done.
Yeah,
Something's wrong here. Well, we figured out the red servers were PvP servers.
Weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, Mobius, it is all his fault.
Yes.
All this you see here is his fault.
Well, no.
Well, no.
Still watched me play EQ1. I played it because I was addicted and still thought he was going to make money. So, yeah, it's not, I mean, he saw me playing, but he was going to make money. So,
Then Steel became addicted.
yeah. It's kind of my fault.
It was all, we were all addicted.
So, founders, any last parting words? This is amazing to have you all here.
All I gotta say
and we're
is
all
thank
very
you
honored.
all.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's the
all.
biggest thing. Thank
Absolutely.
you guys. I mean, yeah, we may have started this, but there's
As
a
we
lot
said, we
to
never
this deal.
envisioned this.
No. And that's all because of the members. That's all because of the people in Grievance.
Yeah.
And that's why it is
That's right.
what it is
Everybody.
today.
Everybody's because of everybody.
Yeah.
We damn sure never saw us sitting over here.
I mean, we made 70 pizzas last night.
Holy crap.
We've had a blast. You guys
About
should be
100
here.
hamburgers today?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
What is that?
that's a really big. What is this?
Someone said, since there are many people that want to attend but might not have the funds, how about for next year there's a submission contest like in hockey, the Hobie Baker Award? Maybe a Grievance attendance giveaway for one lucky person's plane ticket to attend.
Well, the problem with that is, and believe me, this has actually been discussed as well.
Sure has.
It has been.
The problem with that is that one, we rely on donations from other members and what we generate at this raffle, which I got a lot of items to give out in a few minutes.
We have no income.
There's very little actual income that Grievance generates at this time, and we're working on that. But so let's say we have this, we put all these names in a hat, and everybody that was here put their name in a hat. well, what happens if Groobs' name is drawn?
That's right, Australia.
We're broke,
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
you know, and we can't discriminate
The
and
only
say,
thing
well,
could
only
possibly
people in the
work
United
is
States
maybe
because
like
that
a
excludes
50-50
family.
raffle or something like that.
I don't
Like-
even 50-50.
But I mean,
it's just not fair to everybody. One, we honestly can't
You
afford it.
could, you could do
Or
a
could
raffle
just-
with
a cap on it or
a
something
cap,
on it,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we could do a cap. We could do something like that.
It's
That way it pays for
But then
itself.
if they win that,
Not that
then
we
how do you
won't
guarantee
do
they're
it.
gonna use it for that?
it's
That's-
something that needs to be
Actually,
figured
sounds
out.
like a really good thing for our media and marketing.
other words-
our media and marketing director to figure out.
That's excellent.
I'm sorry, what? No, I'm sorry. What's the media and marketing director?
Council member, coordinator,
You know, the
Send
MMD.
us the candy to sell.
M&M.
Have a bake sale.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
And
The
then-
idea's there now. The person's got to figure it out.
And
how to do
there-
All right, we'll figure that. We're gonna figure that out. Just stop it.
And there might be other things we can do to help people, like maybe.
it. Volunteer,
Cat!
yes.
That happened forever ago. It's too late now. I'm so.
Kat,
I'm so
we tried to
SOL
volunteer
at
you
this
to come to
point.
the get together, and you went to going to BlizzCon instead.
Oh, that is
So they don't
wrong.
have to pay for
Just so
Uber
you
and
know,
taxi.
Kata.
We have people going back and forth between the airport.
I'm gonna take this right up to the microphone, for you, Kata. The next time that we have a get together and you finally show up, watch your back.
He's not going to BlizzCon.
Well, that's good to hear. I was feeling very insulted there for a while.
What?
We are talking to you. What do you mean?
Oh, we got like a delay. Just waiting for it. Waiting for it.
No, seriously, Kat, we really hope you can make it next
We
year.
would love to have
You're
you.
actually
we hope everybody can make it next
everybody.
year.
But Kat, you're actually on my hit list to meet.
She talks close to the mic.
When she talks close to the mic. I was going like, what did she say?
All right,
I'm
now
so disappointed in you,
we
Kata.
heard that this last time, right?
It's
1 year?
killing me.
1 year.
Yeah. All talk.
I'm awesome. I am awesome. All right. Any last closing statements from our founders?
Thank you.
I would like to thank our founders. I'm very honored that I got to interrogate, question, and experience the stories. It even makes me a little slightly emo just to sit here and listen to you guys because there's so much history and passion there. So, thank you. Oh my god.
We now have a